Hi, you guys. It's Yaz, and today I'm going to talk about 5 ugly facial expressions that just absolutely scream you're dealing with a covert narcissist. One of the things you got to understand with a covert narcissist is that they don't like to communicate directly. And you will see by their facial expressions or their body language how they really feel about you. So I'm going to get into these 5 ugly facial expressions of the covert narcissist. Number 1, and the one that most people know, is the smirk. Covert narcissists love to use the smirk. It's a passive-aggressive, condescending way to kind of, make fun of you, all right? They're sitting there, you're trying to talk to them maybe seriously, and they have the smirk on. Now, the smirk is going to be where their lips are together and maybe the side of the corner of their mouth goes up a little bit, and they give you like that half a smile, all right? But it's a passive-aggressive way to kind of, almost like they're laughing at you. They're not with you. They're not laughing like a normal person would laugh. So the covert narcissist loves to to give you a smirk, to show you their condemnation of how they really feel about you. They basically feel like you're beneath them. They do this a lot too. Like even if you tell them about something good that's going on in your life, they'll like smirk or something like that. Like they're pretending to try to look like, oh yeah, I'm happy for you, but they're really not happy for you, okay? Covert narcissists love the smirk. They also smirk too when they see you're not doing well. You'll see that they'll be, smirking. Let's say you're walking with the covert narcissist and you fall or something. Instead of being like, oh, can I help you? They'll sit there with like a smirk on, all right? Or you may be, in a setting with them and they just look at you and they smirk, okay? It's a condescending way to kind of put you down, and like it's like a way to be passive aggressive and basically like they're laughing at you, all right? Next facial expression, that ugly expression of the covert narcissist, is the rolling of the eyes. Classic, okay? It's another passive-aggressive, dismissive way to, invalidate you. You may be trying to explain something. Again, it might be a serious matter. Maybe you're trying to put up a boundary, or you're trying to ask them about something, and they may roll their eyes and be like, here we go again. Here we go again. You just don't know how to stop. Or they may not say anything and just roll their eyes, okay? Again, it's their way to be dismissive. They're dismissing anything that you're saying. In other words, you're not important. I don't have to really listen to this. But what they do is, you guys, they don't vocalize how they feel about you, but they show it in their facial expressions. And that is how you're going to know that you're dealing with a covert narcissist, because they're not transparent. They hide how they feel. They hide what they do. They hide their true feelings and emotions underneath. But you will see, if you're really sharp and you study somebody and you study their facial expressions and their body language, you can be able to spot that covert narcissist in a second, all right? So they love the smirk, okay? They love the rolling of the eyes. What's another facial expression, ugly expression of the covert narcissist? The stone face, okay? They give you the stone. This is classic. The covert narcissist will just stare you down, all right? They will stare you down because, number one, they're either studying you. They're studiers. They're constantly studying you. So they will stare you down, all right? Or they may give you that evil glare where there's, that's when a lot of people see the black in their eyes, and they're like, you see the demon within where their eyes actually turn black. People have seen this. And that's when they're like in a fit of anger and they don't say anything. They don't say anything, but you will see the rage in their eyes, and they will stare at you, not blinking, just stare you down with that anger. And that is an intimidating glare that they're doing. They're intimidating you with that stare. Like, in other words, you better shut up, or you better do what I say, or, it's an indirect, passive aggressive, again, way to intimidate you. All right. So there's two kinds of ways they stare. One could be the stare of rage, where their eyes are open wide and they're staring you down and you see the anger in their eyes. Or the other could just be them staring at you, just flat out staring at you and not saying anything. And this is what they'll do too when they don't want to invalidate you. A lot of times you sit down, you try to talk to them, and they just sit there and they say nothing, okay? Like when I was dealing with my ex-covert narcissist of 13 years, he just basically sat there, and every time I tried to have discussions and communicate and connect with him, he never said anything. He just stared at me. He didn't nod his head. See, covert narcissists don't really nod their heads. I've seen people talk about this in other reels. I have yet to see a covert narcissist ever sit there and they don't nod their head. They just look at you like without moving their body and staring at you and just, staring you down. They're a cool cat. That's what they are. A covert narcissist is a basic cool cat that is holding in all their emotions, all their feelings of how they really feel about you. They try to hide it, all right? So they don't, by them not saying anything and just staring at you, they are indirectly, passive-aggressively invalidating you, okay? Because they're not saying, oh, I agree with you. Oh, I see what you're saying. Or I can understand how you feel. They're not saying that because that would be validating you. They're not going to validate you. They're just going to sit there, listen, and just stare at you, and no head movement at all. Their head is not going to be nodding. It's going to be just in one position, just looking at you. All right. And that, again, is an intimidating way to make you feel like you're crazy, because you're not going to see any, you're waiting to get a validation. You're waiting to get some kind of, either them agreeing or not agreeing with you. And they're not doing either one. They're just basically sitting there like a stone looking at you. Okay. That is the covert narcissist. The other facial expression of the covert narcissist, moving along, is what I call sneaky eyes. All right. Covert narcissist, again, the body doesn't move, but the eyes are moving. This could be when you're in a restaurant with them, or you're out with a group of people. Maybe they see a supply in the corner and they got their eyes, and their eyes are constantly shifting. Their body's not moving. See, they keep their body still, but the eyes are shifting and checking out that other supply or checking out whoever is around in the room. So they have very, very sneaky eyes. That's a sure sign that you're dealing with a covert narcissist. They'll pretend to be paying attention to you. Maybe you're having a conversation with them and you'll see their eyes dart the other way, or they're looking behind you, or they're looking to the side. The eyes will shift from side to side. And I've spoken all about this in my shorter reels, you guys, on how the covert narcissist body language, what they do. That's showing you that they're not focused in on you, that they're concerned on what's going on around you, and they're not really absorbing the conversation that you're having with them because they're more interested in what's around than interested in what you have to say, okay? Another facial expression, ugly expression of the covert narcissist is that they don't make eye contact at all. All right. They may be talking to you and they just never make eye contact at all. They may be looking down at the table. They may be looking at the floor. They may be tying their shoelace. They may be looking at the ceiling. They may be looking to the side as they're talking. And you're saying to yourself, why aren't they making eye contact with me? Because a lot of times when they don't make eye contact, it's because they're lying, all right? But that's a tricky thing, because narcissists can lie directly to your face. With their eyes wide open, they could lie directly to your face, and you say to yourself, well, they can't be lying. They're looking me directly in the eye and their eyes haven't moved. Some narcissists can do that, and they do that on purpose to try to fool you. That actually happened to me with the malignant narcissist, where he was like, I'm not lying to you. And he was like staring me down, with his eyes right in my eyes, not blinking, nothing, staring me down. And I was like, wow, he can't be lying. Look at how he is. He can't be lying, right? Didn't he look away? Nothing, right? Turns out, guess what, guys? He was lying, okay? He was lying. So they could either try to, that's a real, cunning, clever narcissist will do that because they know you're watching them. They know you're watching the eye movement. So they will be sure not to dart their eyes when they're lying to you. And then you have the other type of narcissist that can't look you in the face and that will be looking all over the place and not making eye contact with you. So they could be doing that because they're lying, or they could be doing that because they do not want to be close with you. They do not want to connect with you. Now, I'm going to give you guys an example. Let's say that you're dealing with somebody that you like, but they don't really like you. But they don't want to be mean to you. They may still want to use you or keep you around. So they're going to keep their distance. And what's that person going to do when they interact with you? They're not going to be making eye contact. They're not going to be making much eye contact because they don't want to get too close to you. It's their way of putting up that barrier, that wall up without actually saying it. Without actually saying, hey, I don't want to be close with you. Hey, I don't want to be intimate with you. Hey, I don't want to be, too much on your side. So I'm going to keep myself a little distant. I'm still talking to you, but I'm not going to make eye contact with you. That's the other way they do it, all right? Now, what's another ugly facial expression of the covert narcissist? When they cry and there's no tears. Classic. We know that covert narcissists love to play the victim and they love to make the other person the monster. Everybody knows this, right? And they also love to cry when the heat is on them because they don't know what else to do. They may all of a sudden start crying, all right? I saw this in an episode with one of the housewives reunion. They were all on her about something, about how she didn't show up to meet somebody, and she was gaslighting them all, and they were just bombarding her with facts and this, to the point where she couldn't take it anymore because she knew she was busted because they had all the facts on her about how, she deliberately didn't meet up with her friends. And what does she do? She starts burst out crying, okay? But if you notice, what they do is there's no tears. A lot of times it's very hard for them to produce tears because it's not genuine. It's not a genuine cry. It's a cry like, get off my back, all right? It's the cry like, poor me, so that everybody backs off, doesn't make them accountable, and everybody starts to feel bad because they're trying to make them accountable. Everybody gets off their back. So they'll start crying. But if you notice, and one of the ways you could tell it is fake is that you're not going to see any wet tears. All right. You are not going to see any wet tears. Now, moving along, the other thing, so I've talked about the smirk. I talked about the rolling eyes. I talked about the stone face. I talked about the dagger eyes. I talked about the sneaky eyes. I talked about how they cry with no tears, all right? The other thing, too, like I said, they avoid eye contact. But one of the things you have to understand about a covert narcissist, and I've known a lot of them my whole life, they are not people that are going to sit there and nod their head. They don't do that, okay? And I saw that in a reel, and that's when I said, this dude does not know what a covert narcissist is, all right? Because he was talking about, covert narcissists, they'll nod their head in agreement. They don't do that. I've yet to see a covert narcissist nod their head in agreement. They don't do that. What they do is they don't say anything. They sit there, body motionless, and they stare at you. That's the real covert narcissist, okay? Because they don't want to validate you. They're not going to, they might as well just say yes if they're nodding their head. But see, they don't want to say yes. That's how you know who knows covert narcissism and who doesn't, all right? Because I have yet to see a covert narcissist that sits there and just nods their head and, does that. They don't. They sit there and they don't want you to know what they think of whatever you're saying, okay? They want to leave you in the dark. That's what they do. They want to leave you in the dark so that you can't read them. That's the whole goal. This is a survival tactic of the covert narcissist to protect them because they don't want to ever be quoted for agreeing with you, not agreeing with you. They want to stay neutral. But what they do is they work behind the scenes in smearing you and trying to sabotage you and plot against you. But in front of you and in front of other people, they don't want you to know which side of the fence they're on. That's the true covert narcissist, not the one that sits there and nods their head, okay? Because nodding head is showing validation. Covert narcissists don't want to validate you. So they're not going to be doing that. So whoever said that does not know what the fuck they're talking about, all right? Now, you guys, understand this. You'll know you're dealing with a covert narcissist. The number one indicator with all of this, like I've said 1,001 times, is that passive aggressive behavior. And I'm going to explain that all in a podcast because I had somebody come to me and say, well, what exactly is passive aggressive behavior? And I got to tell you, at the time when I was married for over 13 years and I dealt with, oh my God, the most passive aggressive covert narcissist you could ever imagine. And I have them in my family as well. This is why I could tell you anything about them, all right? All I have to do is think about these people, and it's like people come back to me, they say, ooh, you're spot on again. Ooh, you're spot on again. Because I'm giving you real life experience, okay? So it's not a lie. It's not something that you read out of a textbook. I have experienced this. That's how I could tell you specifically how these people operate, right? Now, with the body language, I'm just going to throw this in here because this is really facial expressions I'm talking about. But with the body language, the way they're going to operate is they're going to have their back to you, turn their head and stuff like that. That's the body language. They're going to be dismissive. A covert narcissist, number one, way to describe them, they're dismissive. They're cold. They're dismissive. Okay. So these are the ugly facial expressions of the covert narcissist. And the thing, when they smile, also, I want to throw this in there, when they smile, very rarely will they show their teeth. They smile with lips closed, all right? Because again, it's not a genuine smile. It's a contrived smile to, pretend like they're with you, they're giving you that smile, but it's not a genuine smile. It's a kind of like, I'm trying to fool you. I'm going to give you this fake smirky smile. And they put their, they can't resist. They give you that like wise ass smile. And I'm sure everybody that's listening to this knows exactly what I'm talking about. Okay. So I hope that helps you. If it does, hit the subscribe button, share the podcast. If you're looking for confidential one-on-one phone coaching, check out the link in the bio at askyaz.wixsite.com/thegameexposed. If you're confused, you don't know what kind of narcissist you're dealing with, check out the link in the bio, and you need clarity. I have a new Facebook page called Narcissism Info by Yaz. It's facebook.com/thegameexp777. My Instagram is thegameexp123. TikTok is The Game Exposed. And YouTube, you guys, is The Game Exposed Podcast. All right? And have a great day.